The Chronicles are a series of videos that celebrate the lore behind many of Yu-Gi-Oh's favorite decks. Right now, we are about halfway through the branded storyline between Ecclesia and Elbaz, and it's been a really fun time watching those episodes to learn more about the story. For years, players enjoyed piecing together the branded storyline by looking at all sorts of different card artworks, but now we have an animated representation for what really happened. To celebrate the occasion, they've released the Chronicles deck, the Fallen and the Virtuous. This deck has a lot in it. There's pretty much every single branded card that you could ask for, as well as a bunch of good reprints and alt arts. It's 51 cards total, and every card in the deck is holographic. This deck features 40 main deck cards, 10 extra deck cards, and a bonus card that has a chance to be a Starlight. So in today's video, we're going to open this, look through the cards, and see what it has to offer. So our bonus card is the Dragon that Devours the Dogma. This is one of the new cards in the deck, and there's also a new spell card that we'll take a look at in a little bit. Let's open this though and see what the rest of the deck has. So we have Fallen of Elbaz, of course, Incredible Ecclesia the Virtuous, Aluber the Jester of Despia, Blazing Cartesia the Virtuous, that's a nice reprint, Albion the Shrouded Dragon, Guiding Quem the Virtuous, Springans Kit, Tri-Brigade Mercurier. This card is currently on a journey with Ecclesia and Elbaz to the Springans Desert. It's kind of like a little bit of a scout for the Tri-Brigade. Despia Tragedy. The Bestial Lubellion, fantastic reprint, of course, but it's not just Lubellion that's in here. So we have Magnemut, Bestial Sereneer, and Druisworm. So 3 Bestials, well, 4 Bestials if we're counting the Lubellion. Everyone knows how good the Bestials are. Bestial Magnemut especially is very strong. These cards are being played in some decks right now to counter the Yummies, which are all, light monsters. And yeah, these are great reprints. Super happy to have them. Just very versatile cards. We get to our first alternate artwork, and presumably the second one too. Yeah, so we have Dogmatica Ecclesia the Virtuous and Dogmatica Floralice the Knighted using their pictures from the actual Chronicles episodes. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I did not know that these two characters were sisters before I watched the episodes. So that's kind of just one of the many lore things I've learned while watching those. Also, I gotta shout out my mat here because this is actually like the last frame of the most recently posted episode. Next up, we have Dogmatica Maximus, who plays a pretty big role in the first and second episode. This guy I didn't realize is kind of like mean, but still a good card that has been played in the past. We also have Nibiru the Primal Being, just a good interruption to include in this deck. You're going to see that it doesn't only have branded lore cards, there's also just generically useful cards like Nibiru in here too. So we do have that Nibiru. Keeper of the Dragon Magic searches a fusion normal spell, so usually you're trying to grab that branded fusion, which is one of, if not the best cards in this deck. So that is in there for that. We also have the Fallen and the Virtuous. Hey, shout out to the series name, of course. So this is actually a brand new card that deals with branded and Dogmatica. Let's take a look at what it does. So it is a quick play spell that has 2 different effects that you can use. You can only activate one of these per turn, so you're going to have to choose which one you want. The first effect sends a monster that mentions Fallen of Elbaz from your extra deck to the graveyard, and then it targets a card on the field and destroys it. Not only is this a good destruction effect, but also it triggers the Fallen of Elbaz fusion graveyard effects, which is a nice bonus. The second effect on this says if you have an Ecclesia monster in your field or graveyard, target one monster in either graveyard, special summon it to your field. So it's kind of like a quick play Monster Reborn. This card is treated as a branded and a Dogmatica card, so it's very searchable between those 2 different archetypes. We also have, of course, the one, the only branded fusion. Branded in white, which is kind of like a miracle fusion. Branded in red, I remember this card summoning Guardian Chimera against me so many times. Oh my gosh, that card is scary. Branded opening, often grabbing the Aluber that we saw earlier. Branded in High Spirits, a fun searcher card that can add a whole bunch of different things to your hand. including that Springan's kit that we saw earlier is a very common target. We have Branded Lost, which is sort of like a branded Magical Meltdown that makes it a lot harder to interact with the fusion summons. Branded Regained, which is always great for card advantage. You can get so many draws off this. It's just a really powerful card. Nadir Servant, of course, you know, the Dogmatica Searcher, and it also sets up your Maximus because it puts an extra deck monster right into the graveyard to banish to summon it. We have Branded Bond, which special summons Fallen The Virtuous from a few different places. Fusion Deployment. So this is an alternate artwork, but the artwork depicted here has not happened in the episodes that are currently out there. Right now we are 4 episodes into the storyline and there are 6 total, so this might be a little bit of a spoiler. We'll have to see later on. Triple Tactics Thrust. This is a new artwork as well, and it features the Tri-Brigades. The Tri-Brigades are awesome in the anime. I really like their scenes. They're just really cool mercenaries that have all sorts of fun weapons, and the battle between Fleur-de-Lis and Shureg is awesome. I really, really like that moment. So this is a new artwork for Triple Tactics Thrust. We have Foolish Burial, which obviously interacts with a ton of cards in this deck. Gold Sarcophagus. Super Polymerization. Super Poly is great in all sorts of decks, but specifically in this one with so many nice extra deck options that Albaz can go into, it's just a really good inclusion. Branded Retribution. Branded Banishment. Branded Sword. Branded Beast, which has been played a lot in the past. It's great with Bestials, and it's an excellent card to get off of the Lubellion on field effect. We also have another great reprint here, the Black Goat Laughs. This card is currently seen play in the TCG, and actually it's seen play with Triple Tactics Thrust, so you have both of them in this structure deck, which is pretty cool. Dogmatica Punishment, one of the earliest Dogmatica releases and a great card. I've used this card in all sorts of decks. You've probably seen me play it in a lot of videos, and it is still a classic removal trap. Big fan of that one. And finally, we have Fusion Duplication, which is a way to fusion summon on the opponent's turn as a trap effect. Moving on to the extra deck here, we have the Dragon that Devours the Dogma. So this is the ultra rare version of the secret rare bonus card that we pulled earlier, and this is a brand new card. It takes Fallen of Elbaz plus 1 light or dark monster plus 1 effect monster. So you can't branded fusion for this because branded fusion only deals with 2 material fusion monsters, but you can still get to this a number of different ways. When an Ecclesia monster is on the field or in either graveyard, this card gains 500 attack. Also, it is unaffected by other cards' effects. It also has 2 once per turn effects. If this card is special summoned, you can shuffle up to 2 cards from any graveyard or banishment into the deck. During the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there this turn, you can add 1 Dogmatica or Tri-Brigade card from your deck to your hand. So this is a big new boss monster for the branded deck that's very difficult for your opponent to out. So that's actually kind of nice. We also have Mirror Jade, the Iceblade Dragon, Albion, the Branded Dragon, Lubellion, the Searing Dragon. You've probably seen these 3 cards that summoned a lot over the past couple of years. And then we have Alba Lenatis, the Abyss Dragon, which is a very funny card against any dragon deck because you can set Fallen of Albaz and then fuse with your opponent's entire board. It's a really funny play. We also have Titaniclad, the Ash Dragon, Brigrand, the Glory Dragon, Sprind, the Iron Dash Dragon, Rindbrum, the Striking Dragon, and finally, Granganol, the Dusk Dragon. That's always a hard one for me to pronounce. So as you can see, this deck is really good because it has pretty much everything you would need to play branded, as well as some extra cards that are just good in general in any deck. And I really like that they give you a 10 card extra. This is an almost complete extra deck out of just one of these decks, which is pretty cool. I also have a couple suggestions for how you can use these branded cards in different ways with cards that are outside of the structure deck. So I think one of the best ways right now to use the branded cards is alongside the Draco Tail cards. The Draco Tails are all about fusion summoning spellcasters and dragons, which conveniently fit into the branded cards, and branded fusion is a really good piece of extension on top of your other fusion summoning cards. Blazing Cartesia is just a really strong card in Draco Tail, even if you don't draw the branded fusion too, because it's sort of like an extra copy of Malulu in a way because it has an effect that allows you to fusion summon. But its bonus effect is great too because it adds itself back to your hand from your graveyard during the end phase that a fusion monster was sent to your grave. Depending on how you want to build it, you can either make a deck that's more branded focused or more Dracotail focused, but the fact remains that no matter how you play these cards, they work really well together. There's also Dogmatika Fleur-de-Lis the Thunderbolt, a brand new card from Doom of Dimensions. So this card has the same summoning condition as the original Fleur-de-Lis. If there is a monster special summon from the field, you can special summon this from your hand during the main phase as a quick effect. Then on summon, you can set a Dogmatika trap card from your deck, so Dogmatika Punishment. And if your opponent controls a Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Link monster with at least 2500 attack, you can use the punishment the turn you set it. So it's kind of like an Arias the Labyrinth Butler in that way. So if you go second, you can set up a punishment which not only removes an opponent's monster, but also puts another monster in your graveyard that probably has a bonus effect. You could send Garura to draw a card, you could send Natis to destroy another card, or you could even send any number of the Albaz fusions to your graveyard to get their bonus effects. Anyway, that's all for today's video. This structure deck releases on October 22nd at your OTS and October 24th everywhere else. They've also already announced a Spirit Charmers version of a Chronicle structure deck, so I'm excited to see what that one looks like too. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.